Hey y'all, this is Amazon Jude, day after election, coming to you from Wyoming, 11/7/2018. I don't know about you guys, but I smell a setup. Seems to me that Democrats didn't have a platform, didn't have anything to run on, and for the last 2 years were obstructionists, and to be neck and neck with the Republicans was my first clue that it was a setup. Seems to me the elite made some sort of deal. You guys can have the Senate if we can have the House, because we have to keep the Democrats and the two-party system alive. So we need to make sure we do that. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think the elites at the top made a deal that that would keep the Democrat and the two-party system alive in America, when in reality the Democrat Party should have, by all standards, been destroyed yesterday. I couldn't believe Nancy Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kristen Gilliland, Cory Booker, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, all of the most corrupt Democrats kept their seats. And I mean, they kept them by large margins. So either their people in their districts and their states are absolute morons, or somebody cheated. And I tend to think they cheated. I think that's what this was all about. I think this was a way to make it look like it was an actual real race, when really in reality it wasn't. I mean, come on. Trump's rallies were thousands of people at them, and Obama couldn't bring in 198 people at some of his rallies. So you're going to tell me that people turned out by the millions to vote to put their chains back around their ankles, for high property tax, for endless investigations, for the return of what we got rid of after 8 years of despair? It doesn't make any sense to me. So this seems to me that this was a power play, and this was to fool the American people into thinking this was an actual real election. I think it was, like I said, I honestly believe that this was a setup. I think those 40 Republicans that left office, and Democrats left office from the House of Representatives last year, I think they kept everybody busy with these big old okey dokes like old Beto O'Rourke and Abrams and all of that down in Florida, while they stole those seats. And the reason I'm thinking this too is I can remember back in 2016, Mitt Romney and Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton's campaign guy, flew all around the country looking at voter rolls and voting machines. And you know what? It just happened to be these key states that kept the crooks in office. Now, I can't prove this, and it's just a theory, and some are going to say I'm crazy, but it's just awful coincidental that these races were so close when these guys were so corrupt, and they were obstructionists, and they were caught being corrupt. And even Project Veritas showed a lot of these voting places, especially down in Texas, were breaking the law. You had the Panthers holding guns and Abrams signs. You had voter fraud down in Florida, all these Puerto Ricans that came in from the hurricane and voting, and they gave voter rights back to felons. I mean, you talk about some corrupt fucking shit went on here. And I don't know about you, but I'm saying I think this was a setup to make the American people think we actually have a voting system. This is why the Democrats vote against all the time with voter ID laws. Here in Wyoming, you show your ID, you get to vote. You don't have an ID, you don't get to fucking vote. And, we don't have that problem with weird ballots and weird outcomes, okay? Because you have to show ID. But I'm telling you, I think there was a setup. I smell a setup. It doesn't ring true to me. The people that turned out at these rallies for Trump were just too large. And you notice when they showed these supposed lines at these polling stations, like in Pennsylvania and Florida and stuff, they didn't show a long line. They just showed a line of people. And they told you it was a long line, but they didn't show you it was a long line. And when you look at a Trump rally and they tell you it's a long line, they show you. Usually it's in fast motion video, because there's so many of them that you'd have to take an hour to go down the line to see all the people standing in line. But they didn't do that with this. They just took a picture and said, oh, it was a long line. You know, and then one of the videos showed at a polling place, vote Democrat, straight ticket. I mean, there was some major league cheating going on. And I'm surprised. I'm really upset the fact that Romney was a winner. I think you guys made a huge mistake. It was like we got rid of John McCain. Now we have another dickhead that's going to obstruct the president. Thank God maybe we have an 8-seat advantage that it won't matter what this prick does, that we can still do, you know, what we can. But I wasn't willing to sacrifice the House. And I said this the other day. I said, I smell a setup, and I'll be goddamned if I'm not right. I knew it. I knew there was a setup, because the same corrupt people that want to run for office in 2020 happen to win their seats again. That's just, it's too hokey. And anyway, so you take it for what it's worth. But the media's not going this blue wave thing this morning. I haven't looked at all the news yet, but I'm getting ready to. And I'm sorry, you know, if you want to vote to put the chains back around your hands and ankles, enjoy your corrupt Democrat leaders, guys, in Massachusetts, in California, and, you know, enjoy it, because your property tax just went through the fucking roof. And so did any other tax that they want to impose on you. You guys, you voted for your own fucking demise, and you don't even realize it. And I hope you enjoy it. Just stay out of Wyoming. We don't want you. Out here in Wyoming, we believe in God, freedom, and country, and you're not part of the program.
This has been one of the most divisive midterms in our lifetime.
But at the end of the day, Donald Trump and his followers are still intact.
It's heartbreaking. The hope has been that the antibodies would kick in, that this sort of infestation of hatred and division would draw a response from the American people, really in both parties, to say no and no more. That does not seem to be happening tonight. It's not a blue wave, but it's still a blue war.
Poor Florida. Bill Nelson, 49.8%. Rick Scott. Rick Scott gets it for $4,073,000. Thank God Bill Nelson was defeated. You remember the movie Poltergeist? That's who Bill Nelson reminded me of, the preacher. Come into the cave, the world is ending. You know, during all the hurricanes and stuff, Bill Nelson never, ever called the president and asked for help for Floridians. That was pretty sad. I'm glad to see that guy gone. I'm glad to see Gillum didn't win, and DeSantis did win. We did have some good victories for the Senate, but I'm still saying that the House was, I think there was some real deal-making going on there to keep 6 of the most corrupt Democrats in the country in office. You people just voted for your own demise. You think Nadler and Pelosi and Feinstein and Harris and Gillibrand won't be raising your taxes in your state? You're insane. They're going to raise your taxes, and as far as jobs, you're not going to see any new jobs. You know why? Because Trump was the one that helped these companies come back to the United States to create these jobs. And these guys are going to spend the next 2 years doing nothing but investigation after investigation after investigation, and which is going to be really sad, because the daddy of all investigations, Robert Mueller's report, is due out now. And that's, you know, that's kind of the big kahuna when it comes to investigation. And now the Senate is, or these committees think they're going to start all these new investigations and it's going to change the facts. No, it's just going to waste your taxpayer money. And that's what they're going to do for 2 years, is obstruct. And I can't tell you how disappointed I am in the American people. Should I say the liberal Democrat and you silly snowflake kids. If you think socialism is going to save America and that capitalism is bad, I hope when you get out of college you can find a job other than McDonald's. because these guys are not going to let the economy grow. They want the president to fail. And if the president fails, you know what that means? America fails. So you voted for your own demise. Good luck. Stay out of the state of Wyoming. We don't want you up here, you snowflakes. There is no grand prize for third place in humanity and patriotism.